Welcome back to the weekly Bitcoin.com news show. My name is Corbin Fraser. Today is Friday, October 9th, 2020. It's a rainy day here in Vietnam, and we've got a whole bunch of Bitcoin news for you today, including John McAfee has been arrested and indicted on tax evasion in the US. UK bans sale of crypto derivatives to retail investors. $9 trillion in stimulus injections. 2020 pump eclipses 2 centuries of USD creation. Japan's messaging giant Line introduces crypto lending services. And China's digital currency has been used in 3 million transactions worth over $1 billion Yuan so far. So the top story is John McAfee's been arrested, indicted on tax evasion in the US. According to charges filed by the Department of Justice and SEC, McAfee used his fame to make more than $23 million in undisclosed compensation by recommending at least 7 initial coin offerings to his Twitter followers, not disclosing that he was being paid to promote the tokens. If convicted, he could face a maximum of 5 years in prison on each count and 1 year in prison for each year of unfiled taxes. McAfee has been aware of the SEC watching him for quite some time. In December 2018, he tweeted, "Folks are warning me against opposing the SEC and point to Elon Musk's submission to them as an example I should follow. I have had many dances with the SEC. I know who they are, and I am not Elon Musk. I'm John f***ing McAfee. Watch the difference." Interesting tweet from John. It's rare I get to drop the F-bombs on this show, so this was really fun to do. John, I hope you're well equipped with good lawyers. Those fellas at the SEC, I know they do not mess around, so good luck. Next up, we've got UK bans the sale of crypto derivatives to retail investors. The UK's Financial Conduct Authority has banned the sale of cryptocurrency derivatives to investors in a move that is meant to save average investors $69 million in losses each year. The authority said derivatives based on digital assets like Bitcoin or Ethereum are ill-suited for retail consumers due to the harm they pose, including a lack of reliable basis for valuation for the underlying asset, market manipulation, and extreme price volatility. The ban prompted cries of government overreach and sent share prices of companies offering such derivatives into a downward spiral. I don't really have anything great to say about the UK's choice to do this. I think it's extremely goofy. It's beyond stupid in my opinion. It's a great way to just turn people off of participating in a whole new industry that's really, has the potential of creating a ton more jobs, has the potential of really bringing wealth to people. And yeah, there's some scams in crypto, for sure there is. And there will always be, I think the scammers and the kind of illegal side of stuff tied to crypto. I think, if you look at historically, most innovative technologies were typically used very early on by scammers and manipulators and all sorts of kind of thieves and things like that. But I do kind of feel like crypto's grown up. It's been over 10 years since Bitcoin was created. We've seen countless new cryptocurrencies that are highly useful. People are using cryptocurrency, and I don't think that it's this nasty, scary creature that the UK is making it out to be. Now, I do have to wonder if there's any pressure from the private bank of, I believe it's the Bank of England. They operate much in the same way as the Federal Reserve, printing money when they feel the need and kind of controlling the market basically. And I think this is a big overreach. I think it's a big shame, but I guess for those of you guys who are wise enough, maybe it won't impact you too much if you're still able to bypass some of these rules. I think for the companies that are we're trading some of these derivatives, they're going to obviously have a tough time. But for people that are still interested in buying and selling cryptocurrency, no government can stop you. You have the free right to trade between people and acquire that. You have the free right to buy it from different exchanges. So as an individual, you shouldn't be affected, which is, I think, a good thing. But very, very overreaching decision by the UK, and hopefully they'll reconsider that in the near future. Next up, we've got $9 trillion in stimulus injections. That makes 2020 pump, which has now eclipsed 2 centuries of USD creation. So the US Federal Reserve has printed more than $9 trillion USD since September of 2019. This staggering figure means that 22% of all USD ever issued has been created in 2020 alone. New research shows that the vast majority of funds were created to bail Wall Street special interests since the onset of the coronavirus pandemic. September 2020's single month budget deficit was a whopping $864 billion, which is equal to the total amount of national debt that the country incurred in its first 200 years of existence. So take that in, folks. That's a big monster pump of new money just injected into the supply. So if you've got US dollars, your money is the US dollars you've got in your account are now worth less because of the US Federal Reserve just printing these new $9 trillion USD since September 2019. That's a monstrous number. For those of you who are maybe concerned about debasement of currencies, this is probably a big sign that you gotta wonder, is the US going to be the world reserve currency for much longer? If the US Fed is going to continue to do things like this, I would argue probably not. And for those of you holding monstrous bags of USD, it might be a good time to reconsider and maybe divest a little bit into other currencies or even cryptocurrency. You can buy Bitcoin, you can buy Bitcoin Cash, you can buy Ethereum. Go visit buy.bitcoin.com, try it out yourself. Very easy, and good luck to everyone in US holding bags. I think that's scary stuff. Next up, we've got Japan's messaging giant Line introduces crypto lending services. So the company behind Japan's largest instant messaging app announced an array of new services this week, including a crypto lending platform. So with a cryptocurrency wallet and exchange launched earlier this year, Line users will now be able to earn a yield off of a variety of cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash, by lending cryptocurrencies to the company's new platform. So Line has also unveiled a number of blockchain-based apps, from RPG games to social karaoke, and showed that they're going all in on this whole blockchain technology stuff. So pretty exciting stuff. For those of you guys who are maybe in Asia or in Japan, you probably already know Line, but for those of you in the US and Canada and Europe, Line is kind of like the WhatsApp of Asia. It's the go-to chat app for everyone. It's kind of like WhatsApp meets WeChat meets like Facebook Messenger. It's got a bunch of stickers and it's got its own like app market. But on top of that, what we've been seeing just in the last year is that this company has really been putting a lot of money and time and effort into creating blockchain applications, including exchanges, and now this recent one with the lending platform. So pretty exciting stuff. If you haven't tried out Line and you're in Asia, go download that. It's LINE in all caps. It's kind of a cool app, great way to chat to people. And congratulations on Line and on the new launch of this lending platform. If you've got some cryptocurrency, you've got some Bitcoin Cash or Bitcoin, you want to earn some interest on it, maybe go take that one for a spin and see if you can make some extra bucks. Next up, we've got China's digital currency has been used in 3 million transactions worth over 1 billion won so far. The People's Bank of China's pilot program for digital currency is now being adopted by everyday citizens and corporations. The Chinese government also used the new currency to reward 5,000 medical and healthcare workers who have been dealing with the coronavirus pandemic. The digital yuan is currently being tested in major cities, including Beijing, Hong Kong, and Macau, and has been adopted by 4 of the country's major state-run banks. So this is kind of interesting that China, meanwhile, is working on creating this digital currency. They're clearly ahead. We saw in the previous news, I think it was last week, go check that one out, and where we talked that the US Fed's actually looking at creating a digital dollar. But it does seem that China's ahead of the game on creating a digital dollar, and it does seem like they're actually pushing this thing forward to users. Obviously, from their point of view, in a highly censored country such as China, blockchain is probably a great tool for them. They obviously want to spy on everyone, basically, and a public blockchain is a great way to do that, especially if it's tied to some sort of human identification. This is a big concern for me, and which is why I always recommend people using a little bit of private cryptocurrencies or use some privacy protocols such as Cash Shuffle or Cash Fusion. Those two are on Bitcoin Cash, which allow you to very easily and cheaply basically shuffle your money around and just make it very difficult for anyone snooping around on the public blockchain to be able to see how much money you actually have in your wallet. yeah, kind of an interesting observation, I guess, from China. So go check that one out. You can read more about news like this over at news.bitcoin.com. You can, of course, subscribe to our newsletter there, where we're sending out regular newsletters just about all the latest news going on in the space, including a lot of stuff that we don't get to cover here in the YouTube show. But go check that out. And it looks like we have a comment from a fella named Great Wolf. I recognize the name Great Wolf. He's commented before. Can BCH SLP protocol support DeFi type applications? That is a great question. Okay, so there's a few different ways that Bitcoin Cash and SLP protocol can support DeFi. It would operate different than something like an ERC20 or Ethereum, in the sense that the smart contract capabilities of Bitcoin Cash are limited in comparison to something like Ethereum. The EVM, the Ethereum Virtual Machine, is a much more complex kind of language, and most of the engineers that are building these kind of DeFi platforms are creating them using Solidity, which basically allows you to write some code, lock it up into a transaction, and then it just runs this contract anytime that someone hits it, which is kind of a unique thing for Ethereum, and why we're seeing Ethereum grow quite a bit in terms of volume and in terms of value and in terms of just the total number of transactions. It's blowing, I think it's now blowing BTC away at this point. While BCH, on the other hand, they've kind of taken a different approach, whereas while there isn't this virtual machine of sorts, there is still scripting capabilities, and you can actually check this out. Like, basically, if you go check out, I think it's cashscript.org, a fellow named Roscoe, he's done some smart contracting both on Ethereum as well as on Bitcoin Cash, and he's basically taken the very ugly, very difficult to use scripting language of Bitcoin, which is the same on Bitcoin Cash, and made it into kind of a more nuanced language, kind of similar to JavaScript. It kind of has like a JavaScript looking vibe to it. So if you can read JavaScript, okay, then you might actually be able to go create your own smart contracts using Bitcoin Cash, and being able to do some interesting things like create covenants, do some interesting escrow contracts. You can do all sorts of cool stuff. But with regards to DeFi in particular, I would recommend actually checking out PS Foundation. Let me just quickly check the domain, psfoundation.cash. There's a fellow there by the name of Chris Troutner, one of the most superb Bitcoin Cash engineers in the space, in my opinion, and I think he's just a wonderful resource for innovating on Bitcoin Cash. And what he's done is he's actually launched his company with a token, and I believe with the token you have the ability to buy the token by just sending Bitcoin Cash to an address, and you instantly get his token. You also have the ability to swap it back the other way, and you can pay back the token and reclaim the BCH from it. But holders of this token get access to basically a premium version of his API, which allows him to basically earn some revenue and get people involved in his project. And I believe what he's also been cooking up is the ability for users to do things like governance. Now, right now, Ethereum and most of the ETH space are using some sort of proposal. I can't remember the name of it. They're using basically this ability where Ethereum has the ability to just quickly sign a transaction and say, I want to vote for this one specific proposal versus proposal A versus proposal B. And what we're seeing with Bitcoin Cash is that the easiest way to do that is to actually just issue a vote token. So what people will do is airdrop a vote token to all of the token holders of, say, if it's this PSF coin, for instance. You can then airdrop a vote proposal token to all of those users, and then what would happen is PS Foundation would list two different addresses on their website. You can vote for option A or option B, and all you do is send your vote tokens into those addresses, and whichever address receives the most votes basically wins, and that proposal now gets to get pushed through. So there are some interesting ways to kind of still do some DeFi things on Bitcoin Cash. I would probably recommend checking out psfoundation.cash. There's some more information about how his whole company and how his whole setup is kind of built. Of course, there is a ton of information over at news.bitcoin.com as well, where you can learn more about some of the different DeFi protocols that are kind of being built on Bitcoin Cash. There's two big ones that are coming up, I think, that would be valuable for anyone interested in DeFi and Bitcoin Cash. There's D-Token, which is going to be launched fairly soon. It's by the guys behind CryptoPhil, which was a very popular Bitcoin Cash exchange They recently just shut down and are going to relaunch with this D-Token project, which is kind of more of a DeFi built. I believe it's going to be using some sort of atomic swaps and some interesting things along those lines. And then the other thing is I believe it's called Any Hedge? Anyhedge? Anyhedge, might be anyhedge.com. Yeah, we're gonna have to link to the show notes on that, but I believe it's Anyhedge. And yeah, basically these guys behind some of the guys behind BCHN and some of the guys that are working on some of the Bitcoin Cash kind of development, they're creating this thing called Anyhedge, which is, I believe it's Anyhedge. I think I might be screwing that up. General Protocols Anyhedge, I think that's what it is. But they're creating kind of a simpler way to participate in kind of DeFi development on Bitcoin Cash. So of course, go check them out. Definitely go Google General Protocols. They've got a whole bunch of stuff online, and I think you'll probably be able to learn more about it from there than from me. We'll try to link to that in the show notes. And that's it for me today. So if you have any other questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below. Do the whole like and subscribe thing, and we'll see you next week. And enjoy your weekend. See you guys.